All right, so here's the new machine. It's a little update video. Got about 88 miles on it now. I'm really liking it. It feels just like a Gtizzly. It feels just like my 14. Really familiar. First thing I did was, I don't know, I've heard a lot of people say the sweep on the bars was kind of weird, and I didn't really pay too much attention to it until I rode this one, and yeah, I can see what people are saying. So the first thing I did was put these rocks bars on there. I think they're like an inch or an inch and a quarter taller. That's a lot nicer there, but I wasn't sure if I liked them at first. But after I've got some seat time on them now, I'm definitely a fan of them, and definitely a welcome upgrade. Also, if you live in the cold, these Heat Demon hot grips are a must-have. The 5 level dual zone is sweet. You can really dial in the temperature, make yourself nice and comfy. I did the EHS billet air filter adapter with the uni filter. When they changed the chassis in 16, they moved the air box so they could do this storage compartment. When they did, they kind of swung, and I think they missed on the air filter setup, because I know some people have reported dust inhalation to the throttle body, and I can see why, because that seal from the foam on the front of the filter to the intake tube, not the best. I could see how dust would get in there, so I wasn't going to run the risk. For 145 bucks, it was well worth it. These tires, I like them. These are really cool. I'm glad they come stock. They're sweet. They're like a little over a 1-inch lug, just a little over. I think they're 1 1/8 or something. And I've already got new tires though. I'm not a fan of the 10 wide in the front. They kind of grab everything in the trail and pull the bars around a little too much. I'm probably being a little critical of that, but my last Gtizzly, my 14 that I had that machine brand new. From 14 to 21, I sold that to my dad, and I had 27-inch Mega Mayhems on that, and I love those tires. They're super tough. They last forever. They've got a 1.5-inch lug. They are quite a bit heavier though. I think this is about the lightest mud tire you're going to get with any substantial lug. These are, I think, 22 pounds, which is really light for a mud tire. You're not going to find one lighter, I don't think. And so the Megas are, for the 28s, I think they're 33 in the rear and 31 in the front, so significantly heavier. And I will have to adjust the clutching to take care of that. On the clutching, on my last Gtizzly, I did the slug kit, so I could get the wet clutch engagement at like 1 mile an hour and really crawl through the swamps and the mud and not break traction, because that's the name of the game here in the muskeg. You don't want to break traction and sink. And so, but this machine, as soon as the very first time I drove it, loading it in the back of the truck, it felt like the wet clutch engaged a lot sooner than the one on my 14. So I don't know if Yamaha changed the springs and they're softer springs, or if it's already got a slug kit. I haven't seen anyone else do a video to know, but I went ahead and bought one, just in case I need it. I'll tear into the clutching later. As far to address the clutching for the heavier tires, I've got a JBS machine sheave. I've used their sheaves on many other machines. I'm familiar with them. I know what I'm getting with them, so that's why I did it. I'm going to do a 0.5 or 0.7 shim just to try to get me close to 3-to-1, and then I'm going to do the gold secondary spring. I've already got all the parts. I'm just waiting to go through break-in and get my tires swapped, and then I'll throw that stuff on there. On my last Gtizzly, I had the 27-inch Megas, the JBS machine sheave. I had a 1mm shim, and then the purple secondary spring. And that was a sweet setup. It pulled my meat trailer, no problem. Didn't lug it all on low, and it was still low enough that I could kind of cruise the smoother parts of any of the hunting trails in high range without, abusing it. But when you were out riding it, just cruising around at like 30, it was fine. But if you punched it at like 30, it kind of upshifted too soon a little bit, and the motor, I don't want to say bogged, but it kind of just lugged a little more than I liked, where I would have liked more acceleration. So I think that spring was just a tad too soft in that regard, if that makes sense. And then my buddy has the same exact machine, 2014, 27-inch Megas, but he has a coupe sheave, and that could be the difference, but I don't think it is. And he's got a 1mm shim as well, and then the gold secondary spring. And the way his back shifted was really nice. I liked it compared to the purple. So I think doing the gold on this one with the Megas will take care of that little issue. Overall, I'm really liking this thing. It feels like a Gtizzly. It feels quality. I mean, I know a lot of people are talking about fit and finish. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, they talk about, oh, the gap on this side is different than, I mean, this one's pretty much the same, but I've seen other machines where it is different. And then the headlight pod. I mean, I think that's kind of ticky-tacky. I don't really give a shit about that. I mean, the machine is built well where it needs to be. These things, I mean, not having U-joints on those drive lines, that to me that's a great thought. I don't know why other people don't do that. Polaris, I've had some older Polaris machines, and they have like 3 U-joints running at like 45-degree angles almost. I mean, not 45, that's an exaggeration, but just way more maintenance than you need. I mean, you can talk about how the plastics fit, but look at the way they route the brake lines. Nice and tight. Those bushings they use on the control arms, I've never seen one fail. I've got a 2000 Kodiak 400. Those are still tight. 24 years old. I don't know how many miles are on the thing. It doesn't even have an odometer. The way they do their electrical is routed nice and tight to the frame. There's lots of, cable ties holding them. They use really good waterproof connectors. Their wheel bearings, the coil bearings. I mean, I got 2,500 miles out of my last Gtizzly before the bearings had just any slop in them, and it was minimal. I probably could have still ran it. I just, going where I go, I didn't want to run the risk, so that's pretty good. On my Polaris, I would have to do bearings like once a year. So the whole fit and finish thing, I don't understand, because you got to look under the skirt, man. Look how these things are put together. This is really good quality. I mean, these are really good machines. Just the quality of the components that go on, not just the design. These bearings are not made in China somewhere. These are the bushings, the seals, the way the electricals ran. Mitsubishi electronics. I mean, Mitsubishi makes some of the best electronics in the world. This is just Yamaha quality, what you could expect. I'm hoping all the little COVID issues are worked out on the 24 models, because I know some people, I mean, everybody suffered from that, not even just Yamaha, industry-wide, and even automotive and everything. COVID quality kind of took a hit to everyone with supply chain issues and stuff like that, so hopefully I don't have any weird little bugs related to that. So far, everything feels good. It feels like a Gtizzly, it feels quality. And I almost went with the King Quad this time because my buddy has one. I know those are really good machines. He really likes it. It feels nice. I would say the engine's actually smoother on the King Quad than this. This is kind of not rough, but it's got a little bit more vibration to it, a little more harshness. I think probably because the King Quad's got a dual counterbalancer, so it's canceling primary and secondary vibration, where this one's just got a single counterbalancer. But overall, this one's not bad. I just ended up going with the Gtizzly because my last one, man, I never had a single issue with it. That's the best four-wheeler I've ever owned. And so, yeah, I bought another one, and yeah, I'll do another update video once I get the clutches and the tires figured out. And then maybe I'll bring the 14 out, and we can do a little side-by-side between the 14 that I had that I sold to my dad and this one, and just go over the differences, and I don't know, maybe even run them side by side. But anyway, that's the new machine for now, and I'll post a update here in a little bit.